Hello, my name is Nathan Blue. Thank you all for tuning in. I will be discussing my research in association with the Bob Dylan Archive and the Institute for Bob Dylan Studies here at the university. I want to start with a little bit about how I got involved with Dylan studies and how I got to TU. I started listening to Bob Dylan around 16 years old and immediately became enamored. I was leaving high school and starting at TCC a couple years later. And when I heard that the archive was coming to Tulsa, I set my sights on TU after graduating TCC. So when I got here in 2018, Dr. Latham was a guest speaker in one of my first writing classes, and I asked him if there was any way I could get involved with the archive, the institute, or both. And there was. So that next spring, I took an independent study course with Dr. Latham, which focused on Dylan's music and career. Then I volunteered at the first ever World of Bob Dylan Symposium last summer. And then last fall, I presented on Bob Dylan and the blues tradition at the SCMLA conference in Little Rock. All of that was just some phenomenal experience. I knew I wanted to dig even deeper, so I applied to TURC and got the opportunity to begin working with thousands of unopened fan letters in the Bob Dylan archive. In fact, I'm one of only 3 undergraduate students in the world to have been allowed into the archives. We were looking at the year 1966 when Dylan reshaped his image from folky to rock star. Right around September, the public caught wind of a motorcycle crash that Dylan survived in the summer of 1966, and there's a noticeable spike in the amount of letters he receives from September through November. A lot of these letters, I've gotten through some in September, and a lot of them are get well wishes. While a few of these letters ask why Dylan switched to rock, or they seem disappointed in Dylan's switch to rock, most mention that they show strong support for his more recent music. I've noticed a slight trend between a single being released and then a month or so later, letters mentioning how much they love that new single. I think it's a really interesting insight into fan feedback before the internet. Most of the feedback that I'm familiar with today is a lot more immediate than this. In writing a letter, you have to write the letter, put it in an envelope, get a stamp, put it on there, go to the mailbox or go to the post office. It's a lot more sustained. There's a lot more at least hands-on kind of effort that goes into it, while today a lot of fan feedback is just through Twitter. You get these immediate tweets, stuff that's really quick. So I think comparing the times of fandom is interesting too, looking at how feedback transfers or feedback gets to artists at different points in time. All that being said, these letters may talk a lot about Dylan, but they show the value of each fan. Here we're trying to look at how the fans see Dylan, not particularly how Dylan sees the fans. There are numerous autograph and photograph requests. Some themes range from Dylan's hair and dress to inquiries into music releases. A few letters even ask about the release of Dylan's book, Tarantula, that came out that same year. Tarantula is a really interesting read. It's pretty short. I think it's about 150 pages. I suggest it. Lots of the letter writers tell how many of Dylan's albums or singles that they have. It's almost like they're proving they're fan enough, in a way, is how I've been reading it. Some fans will discuss the interview they read in a teen magazine like 16, while others will mention an interview in the much more adult Playboy. So by noting the difference between the fans' media sources, what fan gets their info from what source, we can understand how Dylan's fame emerged from the rise of pop music and the invention of teenage fan culture in the 1960s. In fact, Dr. Latham and I will be presenting on this topic at the famed PopCon conference later in September. And me, I will begin grad school here at TU in English Language and Literature this fall. I plan to continue working closely with these letters throughout my master's program. There's really a lot of avenues that the future of these letters could go down, and I'm really excited to kind of explore each one of them. I'd like to make a special thanks to all my friends and family, the TURC program, especially Dr. Latham, Mark Davidson, and Kate Blalack, for giving me the opportunity to pursue what I love and keep pursuing it for as long as I can, and I will. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate your attention. Thanks.